What's up guys, it's Alex here from GolfMagic. Today we're at Knoll Park Golf Club testing the Mizuno MP20 and Mizuno MP20 HMB irons. These are arguably one of the best looking iron sets on the market, and today we're going to run these through testing, going from looks, performance, feel, talk about the price point, and then just overall just see how they feel to us. Let's get stuck in. Right, so first things first, let's talk about the looks of these two iron sets. Now you've got the HMB and just a standard MP20, and I can see on first review the HMBs are obviously a little bit thicker of a top line. Nevertheless, they are both two very good looking iron sets. They've got a nice chrome satin finish, they shine in the sun, and in terms of actually looking down the club, they aren't the thinnest top line, which is kind of expected with the Mizuno, as they always have a little bit of forgiveness, but they still look very nice at address. Again, obviously the HMBs are a little bit thicker at address. For me, as a lower handicapper player, I wouldn't particularly want to play these, just they're a little bit too thick, but that kind of alludes to the mid-handicappers actually having a go with these. Now, if you looked at these at a golf shop, you may actually be kind of turned away because you think they do look a bit like the player's iron, but because they're actually the hybrid muscle back, it is more of a forgiveness iron rather than what you would look at as a normal MB iron. Now let's talk about the performance of these clubs. Now the Mizuno MP20 HMBs are, as I said, more for the higher handicap and mid-handicapper range, but the Mizuno MP20s, as you can see, have a very thin bottom and top line. Now with the player's irons, you would expect a little bit less forgiveness, a little bit lower of a ball flight, and a little bit more workability. So let's give this a little bit of a hit and see how I get on. Feels exactly what I expected it to. A bit higher of a ball flight than I expected, but feels exactly like what I thought. And really nice feel, really nice sound, quite similar to other Mizunos that I've hit before. But either way, let's see if I can get a bit of workability around it. Yeah, so pretty workable, pretty much what I expected. It doesn't feel very forgiving at all. You can't expect that with a Mizuno that's got a thin top line, thin bottom line, but I assume they've kind of packed all of that into the Mizuno MP20 HMB. So let's have a hit with that and see how that goes. Right, so Mizuno MP20 HMB. As I said in the first look, you can see it's a little bit more chunkier at address, probably a bit more suited to the higher handicapper player, and it's also have a little bit stronger of a loft. So it's about 2 degrees stronger than the Mizuno MP20. So what I'd expect with this, a little bit hotter off the face, maybe a little bit more distance, a little bit higher as well. Let's have a hit. Launched in the air, yeah, it feels quite similar to a bit more of a forgiveness iron, kind of tailor-made with a bit of a stronger loft. I'm going to hit one more just to kind of get that feel if it comes off a little bit hotter of the face. It definitely did feel a bit stronger, but let's have a go. Yeah, so a little bit higher, kind of what you'd expect from a club that kind of advertises itself as having a little bit more forgiveness to it, a bit more spin, a little bit higher for club face. It felt a little bit stronger, a little bit hotter, but to be honest, it depends what you really want. I do personally think there could be other clubs in the market that you want to try before going and committing to this, but either way, it's still a very top performing club. Right, so let's talk about price of these irons. The Mizuno MP20 HMBs come in at about £180 per iron, whereas the Mizuno MP20s themselves come in at about £150 per iron. Now, comparing these to leading competitors, it's pretty much the same price, but if I'm actually comparing the two irons themselves, a £30 per iron price difference is pretty significant for what is kind of similar clubs. Now, again, they are suited to different players. The Mizuno MP20 HMB is suited more to a mid-handicap player, but going for the Mizuno MP20s, I would have thought they'd be about a similar price point. So the positives there is the Mizuno MP20, I do think is a pretty decent price, but the Mizuno MP20 HMB, for having that £30 per club price difference, in my opinion, I do think that's a little bit steep. Right, so those are the Mizuno MP20s and Mizuno MP20 HMB irons. Main talking points. They are one of the best looking irons on the market and they do perform really well. The HMBs do have a bit of a higher price point. They are suited more to mid-handicap player with that little thicker top of line, and that is expected with the hybrid muscle back section of it. Now, for me, I wouldn't personally put these irons in play, but I can think of a lot of people who would. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe and like down below, and let us know what you think if you've tried out these Mizunos before.